Hi, I'm Bald Dumbo Rat, or Jitterbug Jive, depending on what I'm doing. Here's the obligatory disclaimer telling everyone that I don't hate the show. I actually enjoyed the show a lot, but I'm also disappointed in what it could have been and wasn't.
Who wrote this?
If you're here, you probably either came because you wanted to, actually, sinners can't die me. You genuinely didn't know sinners were supposed to be immortal, or you do know and are aware that the show didn't make it clear. For the actually crowd, let me quickly shut that down. Sinners normally can't die. If they are killed, they regenerate. The only thing that can kill a sinner is an angel weapon or angelic magic. This is fandom knowledge that mainly comes from one of Vivzi's live streams where she explains that sinners regenerate and are hard to damage. The big problem is, I have now seen 3 very intelligent YouTubers assume that all the death of all the sinners shown in the series was permadeath, which made them question what the point of hell even was, if not eternal suffering. And I honestly don't blame them, because there are literally only 2 instances of the entire series that tell the audience sinners regenerate. The first instance is in the end of the pilot, where we see Sir Pentious crawl out of a hole he was supposed to be killed in. But there's a problem. There was nothing really very clearly showing that he was even actually killed. It's practically an off-screen death. So, turns out as I was editing, I noticed that you do actually see Sir Pentious blown apart for just a split second of the explosion when Alistair kills him. Vague, sneaky parts that don't entirely match Sir Pentious, but it gets the point across. Still, this is a blink and you'll miss it issue, and most people didn't notice this minor detail. With all the violence the series has, you'd think they'd be willing to show Sir Pentious getting mangled to death, but, I honestly think the creators are too scared to show the main characters being gored. The only other time we're told any indication of sinners regenerating is this single line from Velvet.
But he tore up my best motto, and you know the show can't wait for that unlucky bitch to pull herself back together.
This one line is supposed to carry that fact for the entire season, and it's just a throwaway comment anyone can easily overlook. And because the death and regeneration is never shown, it doesn't sit with the audience at all. Most people only know this fact about sinners from Vivzi sharing lore outside the series, as she often does. And something so drastically important being basically ignored by the series causes great harm to the narrative, because we have people seeing sinners being killed by angels as bad, but then they wonder why they're supposed to see it as good that any of the sinners kill other sinners, or why, if sinners are killing other sinners all the time, is the extermination so bad in contrast. When you're aware sinners can't die, it's funny when sinners kill sinners, because you know they'll just come back. But you can't have Charlie being all upset about dead sinners and then be fine with sinners slaughtering each other when people are left assuming sinners just die like humans do. If the audience knows the sinners can't be killed by other sinners, then these hang-ups wouldn't happen. And this is something we as an audience should know pretty damn early on, in my opinion. I think Sir Pentious coming back at the end of the pilot was something Vivzi was banking on to tell our audience sinners could come back, but it just was not clear enough, and there are plenty of people who didn't even see the pilot when they watched the first season, which left people even more lost about that fact. I'm not sure why Vivzi chose to avoid the topic, or why she wouldn't let any of her main characters have an on-screen death to clear up the issue. She could have had something like someone die during the trust training scuffle, for example. But either she's convinced everyone watching knows that lore, is way too overprotective of her characters, and therefore wouldn't dare show them getting much worse than a few cuts and a black eye or some kind of aesthetic upgrade, Or she didn't want to show them dying because it would make Angel's abuse look like peanuts by comparison. Well, here's an idea. Why not have Val actually kill Angel at some point to make a point? Angel will be fine, ultimately, but we could firsthand see the trauma that being killed and regenerating can cause someone. Because I'm not going to lie, in a place where people are killing each other for fun constantly, giving someone a black eye and threatening to kill them is extremely tame. Look, you don't even have to kill Angel, but making a death threat that makes it clear he'll come back would have worked better than this more vague threat he made that could mean permakill or temp kill. Some things that might have worked better would be, I'd kill you right now if it didn't take you an hour to come back, or you'll learn how it feels to die 3 times in one night. We just need more than that one line from Valentino earlier, because we know he kills his workers when he gets mad, but a lot of the audience won't understand that his death threats aren't determinate deaths. Also, if they hear the lines from Vox and Valentino about killing employees, it's another thing that sounds really bad if people just died, but not as bad if we knew people couldn't die. Other opportunities to show sinners can't die can be bringing back any sinners Husk, Angel, and Alistair were shown killing. Have the ones killed have really distinct looks, or have them say, "We're back," as they come back for revenge. Show Valentino killing a worker and have that worker show up alive later, or have Valentino yelling at the corpse to be back in less than an hour, for a fun gag. Showing instead of telling. Have Husk get killed in the shootout and Angel getting him out of there so he can come back in peace. The main characters in a setting where no one can die shouldn't have plot armor treating them like the slightest serious injury would be too much for them to handle. The one main character who is supposed to die and come back is Sir Pentious, but his deaths were all comedic and off-screen. Even the poorly handled one we're supposed to take seriously. Like, his deaths were equivalent to Team Rocket blasting off again. On a slightly related side rant, Vivzy also stated in a live stream that drug tolerance is high and no one can overdose in hell, and I think that's a really stupid decision. You can't just have drugs give 0 consequences in hell, in a place people can die from all other normal ways like stabbing and shooting, and then being able to come back fine. In fact, drug addicts should be literally just killing themselves over and over, ODing on drugs, stuck in their own private prison. Drugs shouldn't just be a way to have fun and enjoy yourself in hell. They should suck ass, and there should be crazier stuff than what we have on Earth. THC? Pfft, that's nothing. You should try the acid that literally blows your mind. What, like a blowy or a blow-up? Yes. See, it's not that hard to get creative with hell drugs. I just do not like how the show seems to actively avoid consequences for any of the main characters. Addiction does nothing, setups for consequences don't pay off, like Angel servicing outside of Valentino's limits, or Vaggie being revealed as an angel, or which was solved in the next episode without her and Charlie even really talking, or how just none of the main characters get seriously injured outside of comedy gags at Sir Pentious' expense. It's the same in Hell of a Boss, honestly. People do awful things only to be made the victim instead of facing real consequences. Issues are conveniently solved in ways that didn't entirely make sense in a setting. Characters are practically coddled because, sure, they get bashed around, but they never seem particularly seriously damaged after the fact, except for when the narrative needed Stolas to get seriously hurt, quote-unquote, by being, what was it? Oh, stabbed in the shoulder and leg. Wow, I really thought he was gonna be a goner, guys. And he didn't even need a cane or anything immediately after he was up better. Anyways, my point is that most consequences that happen in either show are not serious consequences, and a lot of things just get swept under the rug because it feels like the characters are being babied and protected. Well, I'm talking about Helluva Boss. I should also talk about how it's giving mixed messages for Hazbin Hotel, because in Helluva Boss it focuses on the Hellborn, who can die from one kill, but Sinners and Hellborn and Demon Princes are all called demons, which muddies the things up, and you're having people seeing Sinners and Demons dying and not coming back in both shows, so it's easier to just assume Sinners die like normal. Okay, rant over. We shouldn't get the sense that it's a free-for-all when anyone can die at any time. We should instead feel that the violence in extremes is the norm, that no one cares about killing anyone, because no one can really die. That part of the torment is you will always come back no matter what horrible things happen to you. And this makes hell more dangerous because it means sinners won't have to hold back whatever sadistic ideas they have. It means the threat of standard mortal levels of violence would be laughable compared to the true violence everyone practices here. People would have so much more opportunity to be cruel and nasty without having to worry about as much consequences. And there would probably be a lot of sinners desensitized to pain because of how many awful ways they've had to die. This is hell, eternal torment, and this cycle of murder and regeneration is a perfect way to show that, and instead we're left with reputable video essayists questioning the point of hell because they don't realize what's happening here. And if they didn't realize what's going on, think of all the people who didn't pick up on it. Vivzy needs to fix this fast, as soon as possible. Episode 1 of Season 2, preferably. We need to know this lore, otherwise it appears to break the narrative in many areas. After Angel stood up to Valentino in public, let's have Valentino go a step above waterboarding. Let's get him into straight-up snuff. It's hell, baby. If bondage is the kinkiest kink you can come up with, then you really don't know what depravity is. Make hell the place of sex, drugs, and violence that it's supposed to be. Quit babying the cast and give them some really serious shit to deal with. Otherwise, it's completely pointless for the setting to even be hell. It's just such a shame that this setting has so much potential, and as people have said, instead of hell, it's just LA with more violence, and that's really unfortunate to limit things to that. We could have had truly terrible people here in hell, and people would have not had complained at all, but it feels like the writers are too scared to actually touch on real evil that isn't just extreme cliches like POC pimps and white frat boys that are ironically angels. You'd have an opportunity to show sinners tearing apart really disgusting, evil people, and the audience would absolutely want to see that. Stomp in a Nazi's head, put a pedo on a spike, torture a corrupt lawyer, and of course, show how the sinners supposedly throw all the worst people to the Exorcist. Oh wait, but if they did that, you'd be showing people being killed by the Exorcist deserve to die, and Charlie's pity on them is actually unfounded. Well, I don't know. There's just not a lot that was really well thought out here in terms of getting the most vital lore about hell into the series. There's so much the world either lacks or doesn't make sense. Anyway, I think I've bloated this essay about as much as I could, so I'm going to leave you with that. Drink water, self-care, and survive.